JBN, we keep you informed. Hanover woman fined $50,000 for stealing electricity from courthouse. A Hanover woman has been fined $50,000 or 9 months imprisonment for stealing electricity from the Lucy Parish Court building. Karen Henry, 45, pleaded guilty to abstracting electricity on Tuesday and was admonished by Parish Judge Sharon Barnes. The court was told that on March 21, a supervisor at the courthouse detected electrical issues in the building and called in the Jamaica Public Service, JPS. During checks, a wire covered by bushes leading to a house in Horton Court, a community behind the courthouse, was detected. The wire was disconnected. 3 days later, the court building again had electrical issues and JPS was called in, and the personnel found wires connected from the courthouse to Henry's premises. The strength of the electricity was measured to be 2.8 amps. The police were summoned and Henry was arrested and charged. In pleading guilty, she told the court that she recently moved to the community after being displaced and that the wire was put in by someone else, but that she benefited from its placement. 2 shot dead, 2 injured in St. James shootings. Shooting incident in 2 St. James community on Wednesday night has left 2 men dead and 2 others nursing bullet wounds. Those killed have been identified as 58-year-old chef Kirk Gregg of Cornwall Courts, Montego Bay, and 28-year-old laborer Stephen Clark, otherwise called Vicious, of Rose Heights. According to reports, the first incident occurred about 10:45 p.m. when Gregg was shot dead by armed men while walking towards his home in Cornwall Courts. The killers then escaped. While the police were processing that scene, gunshots again rang out at a gambling shop in the neighboring Rose Heights community. 2 armed men had reportedly drove up on a motorcycle and opened fire, hitting Clark and 2 other men. They were rushed to hospital, where Clark was pronounced dead and the other 2 men admitted in serious condition. Since the start of 2020, a total of 72 persons have been murdered in St. James, a parish that has been under a state of emergency. Gunmen killed teen, injure soldier. A teenager was shot and killed, and a Jamaica Defense Force soldier wounded after gunmen carried out a bloody attack on a group of persons in Westmoreland on Tuesday night. The deceased has been identified as Michael Blake, 18, otherwise called Injin, unemployed, of Hartford in Petersfield. The soldier, who has since been treated at hospital, is said to be a private who resides in Landilo in the parish. Reports are that the soldier went to visit relatives when he heard gunshots coming from the vicinity of the house. He then saw 4 men on 2 motorcycles and a bicycle coming towards him. One of the men brandished a handgun and fired several shots at him. The soldier ran into nearby bushes to escape. A report was made to the police, and a team from the Whitton police station visited the scene. Upon their arrival, Blake was seen lying along the roadway in a pool of blood with multiple gunshot wounds to his upper body. He was taken to the Savlamar Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The soldier transported himself to hospital. The police say they have not yet gotten a motive for Blake's murder, but they believe the soldier was attacked because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like a death sentence, families of SOE detainees heartbroken at delayed ruling. A look of despair flushed Everton Douglas's face following the declaration by Justice Bertram Morrison of a delay to the judgment on whether Douglas and 4 others who have been detained under states of emergency SOE for extensive periods would be released or further remanded. Similarly, Gavin Noble, who has been locked up the longest, shook his head dejectedly at the decision, but his mask hid his reaction. On Tuesday, Morrison had said that in an effort to wrap up the hearing before the court term ends on Friday, he would seek to provide the judgment on Wednesday. He changed tack on Wednesday, noting that he needed time to pore over the voluminous evidence. That ruling will be delivered on August 25. That's too long. That's basically the week before the SOE is to end. Jamaican Justice, senior legal advisor John Clark bellowed before the judge asked him if he had forgotten the rules. The 5 men, Nicholas Heath, Courtney Hall, Courtney Thompson, Noble, and Douglas, are being held under SOEs in Kingston Eastern, St. Andrews South, Westmoreland, and Clarendon. They have been in custody for up to 15 months. Noble's partner, the mother of one of his children, who was in attendance on Wednesday, said that she came with high expectations that he would finally be freed. News of the delayed judgment was distressing. It is like him upon a death sentence, his partner, who requested that her name not be mentioned, said. His partner insists that the detention of Noble for 1 year and 3 months has been injustice. I am heartbroken, stressed, depressed. Me expecting him to come home today because from my understanding, I say, okay, I'll come in for results today. But unfortunately, me never get him I want. He's a father of 3. Right now, my son don't even know him because there's no father around. Me not see a reason to see why them have him for so long. I can't see the sense in it. From the tribunal, them come up with a situation from 2017 and that ended in January 2018, in which a case was thrown out in the gun court in Montego Bay. I can't understand why as a human being, you're going to have somebody locked up for so long and then you're going to bring up things from way back then that have been thrown out, she said. On Tuesday, former police constable David Binns, while being cross-examined, disclosed that he gave a statement to the Emergency Powers Review Tribunal of reasons why Noble should not be released. However, Clark said that one of the cases cited was thrown out by the court in 2018. On their way back to Westmoreland on Wednesday evening, the parents of Hall, who was also being detained for more than a year, said that they felt as if they had wasted their time journeying to Kingston in the hope of seeing their son released. Me no feel good about it. I mean, take me to come back to them place here, because we can't go in any ways. It affect the whole family, Hall's father said. Morrison last week ordered that the men be brought before the courts on Monday so that a ruling could be made on whether they were being held lawfully. I am not the father. Mayor Thomas denies paternity for a blind man. Portmore Mayor Leon Thomas has rejected claims. He's the father of a 30-year-old visually impaired man from 6 miles in Bartons in St. Catherine. Camoy Thomas, one of 2 recipients under the Housing Opportunity Production and Employment Hope program, yesterday morning said the politician is his biological parent. I want to take the time out to say thanks to my father, even though he hasn't recognized me. But his counsel on the other side, the mayor, I don't want to call no name. He knows himself. But I want to take time out to tell him thanks for bringing me into this world, Camoy said. When contacted, the Portmore mayor denied paternity. I don't know that young man. I don't know of him, Thomas said. Camoy's claim surprised Prime Minister Andrew Holness and other officials at the handover of the newly constructed house in the St. Catherine Southwestern constituency of Member of Parliament Everald Warmington. Camoy went blind 9 years ago after being hit in the face during a confrontation. After the injury, Camoy did a surgical operation on his eyes, but they progressively deteriorated. More than 1,000 St. Elizabeth residents receive care packages. The Ministry of National Security, in partnership with Wray and Nephew, have come together to provide care packages to more than 1,000 residents in several St. Elizabeth communities. According to Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of National Security, Matthew Samuda, the public-private partnership has helped the government to intervene and prevent violence in communities. There have been some problems in St. Elizabeth, albeit more southerly than where we are, but these things have a way of getting away from us. What we're doing here is preventative measures where we're reaching into the communities, Samuda said, while speaking with reporters on Wednesday at the Wray and Nephew and the Ministry of National Security Live Good Community Outreach Initiative at Appleton in St. Elizabeth. It's always good when you don't go with your 2 long hands, and that's particularly important today because we want to trigger stronger relationships both between the state and its citizens and between citizens and their neighbors, he continued. He noted that the core message of the initiative is to get Jamaicans in St. Elizabeth and the entire country by extension to live good with each other. Clement Jimmy Lawrence, chairman of Wray and Nephew, lauded the partnership, declaring that the Live Good outreach program is very important to his company and that it has a long history of partnership and support for the communities within which it operates. These 1,000 care packages that we're handing out to the citizenry include Kitchen Hubbard items as ground provisions. We as Jamaicans know our food needs support, and we want to support and provide some relief and comfort to the citizenry of the area, Lawrence said. Meanwhile, some would address concerns about the impact of the closure of Appleton Estate Sugar Factory on communities. With the shutdown, approximately 370 workers are to be made redundant. The management of the farm will be divested to a third-party company that is expected to re-employ a significant number of the affected staff. I know that there's a whole slew of interventions that are going to come in terms of how you put the lands back to use, how to, instead of getting them to look for jobs, to get them to own their own business and create employment, said Samuda. We don't know where the dust will settle. I think the country should be clear that the government is using its surplus to protect the stability of many Jamaican families. The We Care program that has been piloted through the Ministry of Finance during this period has targeted people who have lost their jobs because of the COVID fallout, Samud added. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.